Hey everybody, welcome to our monthly Voices of Experience call. Debbie Darby and Tamara Holloway and myself, Candace Water, bring you the tippity top leaders in Plexus to hear their tips and their advice and what things are working and things that they can share with us to help us be better leaders, better ambassadors, just so we can hear their hearts and know that they're real people just like you and me. So tonight I have the honor of introducing my friend, Arkansas Diamond, Kristy Hull. When Kristy and I went to dual leadership training, I guess 2 Februarys ago, we all had to take a Myers-Briggs test, and I am an introvert. Kristy is an introvert, and we all took the test. And I think Kristy and I were one of two in the room of 80 that scored the same as Myers-Briggs. So I was so honored because I was a new jewel and she was a diamond. And I was like, wow, okay, well, it just proves that any personality can do this. And so anyway, so I'm honored to introduce Kristy to you, and I'm so excited to hear her story and her 10 tips that she has for us tonight. And so take it away, Kristy. Thank you.
Well, first off, thank you guys for asking me. I felt totally honored when Debbie reached out to me earlier in November and said, hey, would you do this? And so, of course, I said yes, even though things like this, because I am an introvert, it does make me nervous, but I have to always be pushing myself outside my comfort zone. So really quickly, I want to share with you guys my story because that kind of brings to light my whole Plexus journey. Without my story and what has happened in my life, I feel like I probably wouldn't have a huge Plexus story, which is something I always wanted. So I want to share that with you guys. And then I'm going to talk to you about my 10 non-negotiables if you want to be successful in this business. So like Candace said, my name's Kristy Hull. I'm a Diamond Ambassador from Arkansas, and I live in a tiny town called Prattsville. We've got 282 people. And so I started out with a very small network. Grew up here, moved away for college, moved back here after I got married. So like a tiny town is what I've always known. And I was a product of a cold message from Rebecca Folks. We knew each other through mutual friends, had never met, had really never spoken other than, commenting and liking each other's things on Facebook. And when she signed up July 2013, she reached out to me in a cold message and, kind of planted some seeds and said, hey, this is why you'd be good at this. And she named off 3 or 4 things. Would you want to do it with me? Well, I had done network marketing about 10, 12 years ago for about 3 or 4 months. And it was with a company that it had a ton of products. You had to host parties, which is the worst thing if you're an introvert. You had to handle people's money, deliver products. It was all this stuff. And it wasn't for me. And so I quickly had in my head that all network marketing companies were the same. And so I had swore off. I said I would never, ever do it again. But Rebecca, like a good ambassador, followed up with me, you guys, once a month for 4 months. And she would just check in. She wasn't being pushy, but just kind of say, hey, did you read what I sent you? Because I would always, come up with an excuse because I can't tell people no. So I just would always say I'm busy or I haven't looked at it yet. But around October, my newsfeed started being more people doing Plexus than just Rebecca. And it was some people from back home, people that I saw having success with the products and the business. And so I kind of started watching Rebecca a little more. And then one day I was sitting at my desk on my lunch break at work, and I thought, Kristy, it's $34.95. Like, you are going to kick yourself in the booty if you do not take a chance on this. Like, it's $34. And so when I signed up, I had no idea why I was signing up other than I didn't want to miss out on something. I really didn't have any big goals because I'll be honest, like I had a really good job. I'd been at that point for about 8 years. I owned part of the company. I made 6 figures. And then on the side, me and my husband owned Sonic franchises. And so, well, we did fine for ourselves, but I just kind of thought, this could be retirement money, pay off our new to old house that we had just bought, things like that. And so signed up, and my big goal with Plexus, because again, my mindset was about that big, was that if I could be making $500 a month by the end of my first full year, that I would feel like I'd hit the jackpot. Okay. So $500 kind of seems to be the magic number for so many people, but that's because it's such a big number. It can make a huge difference. And why I wanted that $500 was I needed a new car. My car at the time had about 250,000 miles. I was putting about 120 miles a day, commuting back and forth to work. And I thought $500 would cover a car payment. A couple months went by and I thought, okay, I've hit that goal. Maybe there's actually something to this amazing comp plan people keep talking about. So maybe I should dream a little bigger. And that's when I decided, you guys, that I drew that line in the sand that you hear people talk about. And I said, okay, Kristy, if you are doing this, you are going 100% in. So January of 2014, I decided that a year into the company, I wanted to be an Emerald Ambassador, earn a car instead of having to pay for one, and earn that trip to Hawaii, and then be earning a six-figure income. And so I did it. And I worked my business literally in the nooks and the crannies of my day. So I worked a corporate job and I had a ton of that job on my shoulders, a ton of the company's success on my shoulders. And so I didn't get to work my business like at my desk when I was sitting at work. I literally had to work it, sending voice messages on my way to work, listening to trainings instead of going out and shopping for an hour and wasting time, which is what a lot of us do. I worked my business. That's when I reached out to people. That's when I posted on social media. I was very intentional with the little bit of time that I had. And then in the evenings, I gave up TV, which I didn't think was a big deal. And so, you guys, I'm happy to report that a year into the company, I hit that big goal, went Emerald. And I remember Rebecca saying, so are you going to quit your job? I was like, Rebecca, I did not sign up to quit my job. And I'm handling both well, like I'm doing good. And our team had so much momentum at that time. So 2 months later, January of 2015, I hit Sapphire. And one day, you guys, got a six-figure raise, was one position from the top of the company. And Rebecca sent me flowers to my job, congratulating me. And I remember her calling and saying, so you're going to quit your job now? Like, are you going to quit your job when you go diamond? Like, when are you going to quit your job, Kristy? And I was like, I can't talk about it. Like, it seriously stressed me out because I'm a very loyal person. And I had been with that company for, at this point, almost 10 years. And I thought, I cannot leave them hanging. But little did I know that was all going to change. So 3 days after I hit that Sapphire rank, my husband Kyle was in a really bad car accident. It was on a Sunday morning. And I remember getting to the hospital, seeing everything that was wrong with him, which they tell you on the phone, oh, he's just got like a broken leg and a broken arm, we think. And then you get there and they up the sheet and the leg's broken in 4 places and there's blood everywhere. And, his aorta is severed. And that's when our world stopped. And I remember calling my boss and telling him everything that was wrong with Kyle. And obviously hoping he would be very, I guess, accommodating and understanding. And his words to me were, well, I figure a day or two max, and you are going to need to be back in the office. And I did not even respond to him because I thought, did you just hear what's wrong with my husband? Like, literally, he is a miracle to be alive, and this is a big deal. I did not go back to the office. Instead, because I had plexus and I felt the security in that, I chose to stay by Kyle's side for 47 days in the hospital. I was in the hospital in Little Rock. I worked in North Little Rock, you guys, which is about 5 minutes from my office. And this company that I was so loyal to and felt like I couldn't leave them hanging did not come see me or do anything until week 7 in the hospital. So it was very quick apparent to me that they didn't really have that loyalty, somebody that I'd worked for 10 years and poured into. And on the other hand, we had this huge plexus network, people from corporate calling, sending things, people around the world literally messaging us, praying, sending cards. And so that support was huge. And it just kind of showed me like where I wanted to be with that. But y'all, the beauty of it was I was able to stay by his side, be at all his appointments, be at all his surgeries, and work my business from my cell phone in the hospital room. Continued to build my business. My leaders took over for a little bit because, it was just, I had to kind of be MIA for about 14 days. But after that, I poured into my business and we came home mid-March. I did go back to work for a couple of days. And then I just decided I got brave enough and I finally quit on April 21st, 2015. And on April 28th, 2015, I hit the very top rank of the company. So I went from in January being a sapphire, literally spending about a month and a half in the hospital with my husband, to the next month, a month later, hitting the top rank of the company. And that just shows you the power of residual income and the power of network marketing, and the power of building a big team and having that momentum, that if you do have something come up in your life, which heaven forbid it would be something as, as horrible as this, that you would have that same security that I had, and that same, I guess, the same backing that allowed you to stay with your husband and not have to go to the office, want to be with him all day, and come back. And I had always told Rebecca that I wanted a passion why. Like, you hear people tell their stories and they've got these whys that give you chill bumps and make you cry. And she had messaged me about day 38 in the hospital, and she said, Kristy, I think you've got that passion why now. And I remember texting her back and saying, yeah, thanks a lot, Kyle. And so, you guys, at the beginning of the story of me starting, which is just taking forever, sorry, I told you that I did not know why I signed up on November 11th, 2013. Like, I didn't. I just kind of had a gut feeling. But I 100% feel that it was revealed to me 15 months later that God had put Plexus in my life when I didn't know I needed it. I had no idea I would need it in the future, but He knew what was to come for us, and He was preparing a way for us. And so if you're someone that's out there and you're watching this and you've kind of gotten started and you don't really have that passion why yet, find another why. Like, find a reason or a goal to work toward. That's what I did. And then your why might be like mine, and it might be revealed later. But I want you guys to understand that this opportunity literally changed our life. Had we not had Plexus in our life, I would have either had to make a very difficult decision to go back to work and leave Kyle's side, or if I would have quit my job and not had the Plexus income, we would have major life changes and would not get to have the freedom that we have today. And so this opportunity is literally for anybody and everybody that wants it. It's like Candace said about taking that test. Y'all, there are all people, all types, all religions, all like races, all sexes, you name it, in this company at the very top. Okay, it's not a cookie cutter thing that you have to be like this or you have to be like that to get to the top. Anybody can do it. You just have to be dedicated. You have to be consistent, and there's just a few things that you have to do every single day. Okay, so they're my non-negotiables, is what I like to call them, if you want to be successful in Plexus. And so I wanted to go over those with you guys tonight. So it's 10 things that I feel like if you really want to be successful, and go all the way with this, or even be successful to the point that you want to be with this, that you have to do these things. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, they're not hard things to do. So don't be scared that this is going to be a list that you're not going to be able to do. It's very, very, very easy things. So number one is you have to be a product of the product. Anybody and everybody will tell you, if you are not taking these products and you are not feeling the benefits of them and you're not seeing the benefits of them, your audience, the people that you talk to, they are going to be able to tell a difference. Okay. It's in the way that you speak. It's in how you light up when you talk about them. Even if you don't have your own huge testimony right away, if you're taking the products, you're going to be feeling some things, and you're going to talk about other people's testimonies different, as opposed to just trying to get a quote sale. Okay. So you want to be a product of the product. One reason is because you want to feel awesome. You want to look awesome. But two, it is going to be a huge belief builder in your audience and for yourself. Okay. So be a product of the product. Number two is you have to post on social media. Non-negotiable, 100%. I would say that I've probably built my business, 99% of my business, on social media, on Facebook. Now, Instagram has gotten a lot bigger in the last 4 years. A lot of people are using Pinterest, Twitter. There's all these, Snapchat. There's all these other different social media apps out there, and just social media platforms for you. So pick a couple and use them. I'm still working on being a better Instagrammer. I love Facebook. Like, that's just kind of my go-to thing. That's what I love. And I still feel like there's a ton of opportunity for me on Facebook. So that's really where I kind of hone in. But you have to be posting on social media, and you have to be doing it attractively. Okay. So, number one, you want to be up to date on the new algorithms. And if you have not watched Emily Gibson's new Facebook algorithm video on YouTube, go look it up. I think she put it out around mid-October, and it is so good. And I loved her list and how she went through it, because I took notes, and it's very tangible things that you can fix and start doing right away, and you're going to see a difference. One example is, beforehand, or before this algorithm change, we used to tell you to post like up to 4 or 5 times a day, maybe even 6 times a day on social media, personal, and 2 or 3 plexus posts in there between your personal. And now the algorithm really only wants you to post 3 times a day. So I'm gonna admit, like, that's been really hard for me, because I'm by nature, way before plexus came into my life, a very big Facebook poster. So I've had to, like, sometimes I'll see a post, or I'll take a picture, and I'll be like, crap, I want to use it right now. But I'm like, no, your algorithm's working for you, so just hang tight and use it tomorrow. So watch that video, number one. Number two is, you have to be making personal posts, and you have to be branding yourself. So if you can just think of 2 or 3 things that you want people to think of you as, or that if you ask yourself, or even your husband or your best friends, like, hey, what do you kind of think my brand is? Not plexus. It's not plexus, so that cannot be an option. So for me, I feel like I'm an aunt. I don't have any kids, so I'm always talking about the aunt life. Like, I'm always with my nieces and nephews. I like fitness, and I'm a big on inspiration, and I always do like a motivation Monday things. And there's some other things in there, but those are kind of the 3 that I really like always talk about. And I really didn't even have to quote, like, make those up or rebrand myself. They were already things I was doing, but I just focused on them more. So make sure you're making personal posts. Make sure you're making engagement posts. And that's a big thing in the new algorithm as well. You want to be engaging. So one thing I'm doing right now for the month of December, for the first 12 days, is I'm doing a daily giveaway. And you guys, I've gotten like 500 comments on some of my posts. I thought this is the perfect time to get some engagement roused up, get some new people seeing my post. And you want to comment back on every single post that somebody puts up. So I know that's sometimes a lot of work, but even if it's just an emoji, you want to be commenting back. And then you want to be putting your business post in there. So talking about the products, talking about testimonies, talking about your why, talking about the benefits that you've seen from the products, talking about what the business has done for you. And you want to be as personal with that as possible. So again, it's a personal post, but it's like a personal plexus post. So the people that I see getting the most attention, having the most, momentum and attraction right now on social media and with plexus, are the people that are being personal about it, and they're being vulnerable, and they're being relatable. Okay. People are going to be more relatable to somebody that talks about the success that they've had, and that they were able to, buy their kid a new coat, or go Black Friday shopping and not have to put it on a credit card this year, or pay for Christmas. And maybe you can't even do all of that yet, but if it's just 1 or 2 things, I promise you, those stories that Kendra Hall talks about and you hear people telling you to do all the time, those stories are what grab people in. People love to read stories. I'm always stopping on people, whether they're plexus or not. And if their stories draw me in, okay? So make posts that make people stop on your post and read it. And then again, you want to be doing this attractively. Number 3 is, you have to be reaching out to 3 to 5 people a day. All right. So whether that is initial reach outs to prospects, and that might just be even somebody that you friended on Facebook, and maybe the first time you reach out to them, hope you don't, by the way, don't reach out to them the first time about plexus, but maybe your first reach out, you're counting that as one of your reach outs, is just like, hey, thanks for accepting my friend request. Can't wait to get to know you more. Like, tell me a little bit about yourself. Okay. So you can even count those as your initial reach outs for the day. And then you can include your follow-ups as well. But you got to be reaching out to 3 to 5 a day. If you're always reaching out to 3 to 5 a day, no matter what kind of mixture it is, you're always going to have people in that funnel. So your funnel, you're going to be putting more people in that's dripping out, and you're not going, so you don't want to look up one day and like say we've got the New Year's deal coming up, New Year's Eve's coming up. We've always had a Plexus special. I'm not saying we're going to have one, but if we do, you don't want to look up on like the 28th and be like, I have absolutely nobody that I can even reach out to about this special because I haven't been talking to them all of December, and I've let my list go away, and I have nobody in my funnel. So you've got to keep that funnel full. So that's number 3. Number 4 is you have to be continually expanding your network and building relationships. Y'all, this might be one of the number one things that I see people struggle with, and anybody on my team or another team that comes to me and says, I feel stuck, or I'm just not getting anywhere, nobody's responding to me. If I ask them, okay, are you building your network? Are you getting in those Facebook groups? Are you, making new friends? Are you actually investing in those relationships? They all are, if they are being honest with me, they all say no. Okay. And so I had a lot of people on my team around last October. So they'd been with me about 2 years, the majority of these people, and they felt super stuck. And I finally figured out it was because they had been preaching to the same audience for 2 years. They had never gotten in those groups. They had never added people on Facebook. They had never built these relationships. And so if you're somebody and on this call and you're feeling stuck, ask yourself, am I really doing that? Because let me tell you, if you're really doing that, it works. Jared Abart, Kristen Abart, Ergay, um, let's see, Laura Robbins. These people have built huge teams and have gotten jewels come out of it. And even the first diamond in Canada came out of a Facebook group that Kristen and Jared Abart did not even know her before this group. Okay. And another good video, if you don't know how to get in these groups and what to do, Laura Robinson was interviewed on the Rockin' the Pink Live that Tim and Michelle Thomas do. And this has probably been maybe in the springtime. You guys, I took 4 pages of notes. It's that good. She literally tells you step by step what she does, how she does it, and what you can do. And it works. I was on a post with her the other day, and I think she said that 90% of her level ones she did not know before she started Plexus, and she found them on Facebook. Okay? 90% of her level ones. So this is just proof that you've got to be getting out there and reaching out and expanding your network. Okay? Number 5 is you have to do that personal development. Okay? Personal development is huge. It's going to not only play a huge part and be good for you in your Plexus business, but you're going to see the fruit of it and kind of a return of it on it in your personal life as well. I'll be the first to admit I did not get into personal development until about 1.5 years ago. When I first started Plexus, that really wasn't even talked about. And I guess I was just one of those people, like, I didn't really feel like, okay, what else do I have to learn? And that's so dumb of me to say that, but I'm just being completely honest with y'all. But once I started reading these books and getting into them, it's really, really helped me in both my business and my personal life. And so personal development, if you're not a reader, get it on audio. There's a lot of people that do that, and they listen to it in their car, or they listen to it instead of listening to music when they're at their house. And if you can only do 10 pages a day, do 10 pages a day. It will make a difference. Some really good ones, if you're looking for some starters, some of my favorites are Millionaire by Halftime, The Secret Code to Success. I'm looking at my books up here. And GoPro. Oh, and Sarah Robinson's How to Rock Your Network Marketing. So those 4 are really good to start out with. And they're all 4 kind of different, but they're really easy reads, especially the Sarah Robbins one. I thought it was just a great read. And there's a lot of just practical things you can do in there, and some inspiration as well. So number 6 is going to be getting outside of your comfort zone. So I kind of said at the beginning that these calls are totally outside of my comfort zone. I'm doing Super Saturday training in Pennsylvania 100% outside of my comfort zone. When Alec came up to me in DC or in Orlando and asked me, I was like, "Ooh, are you sure?" Like, that's I'll push myself out of my comfort zone if you're sure, but I want to make sure like you really believe in me. And he said, "Kristy, you can do this. You just have to believe in yourself." And so, even as a diamond, every single day I'm pushing myself outside of my comfort zone. One thing that I really have to work on besides public speaking is talking to people in person about plexus. It's really, really easy for us to hide behind our computer screens or hide behind our phone screen, um, and try to do everything over the social media because that's easy. And if you're an introvert, it's just your comfort zone. But there's so many people. Timmy Yancey on my team is one of them. She has gotten so many customers and so many ambassadors on her team because she will go up and talk to anybody and everybody. If she's at Target, she's got her listening ears on and she is listening for those keywords of them talking about how they don't feel good or talking about so and so, told them this or, whatever. And she will go up and say, "Okay, I couldn't help but overhear you, but have you ever heard of plexus?" And then, of course, if they say no, she acts like they're the last people on the face of the earth to hear it. And so that's something I've been trying to work on. Obviously, I'm not going to do the Timmy spiel because that's just not my personality, but getting outside of your comfort zone. And so for a lot of people, that's even sending a cold message because that feels really funny to people. That's even making these relationships that I was talking about on Facebook. That feels weird. But y'all, it's where you're gonna blossom. Okay, think about it like this. So if your comfort zone's like this, every single time that you do something, it expands and it never goes back to that. So if you keep expanding like this, you're gonna look up one day and your comfort zone is gonna be so big you're not even gonna recognize yourself. But that's a good thing. Okay, so get outside of your comfort zone. And if you have to talk to your leader and say, "Okay, I'm wanting to get outside of my comfort zone. This is where I'm struggling. What do you suggest?" Do that. Your leaders are here to help you. Okay. I know for me, anybody on my team that wants help, that wants to do this, that's what I'm here for. I want anybody and everybody to have the same success that I've had, but you have to do the work. Me wanting it for you, Debbie wanting it for you, Candace wanting it for you, Tamara wanting it for you. It's not enough. Like we wish it was, but it's not. You have to do the work. Okay. So number 7 is going to be training and leading your team. Okay. So what do you mean by that, Kristy? Because there's a ton of training that all my leaders provide. That's what I'm talking about. You do not have to duplicate. You don't have to, or you do have to duplicate. Sorry. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to make up your own training. What I'm meaning by training and leading your people is don't sign somebody up and leave them hanging and make them feel like they were just a quote number or just a sale. People want to feel loved. They want to feel like they mean something to you. They want to feel like they're a part of a team. And so if you're brand new and you're like, "Okay, how do I do that?" Then what you're going to do is you're going to plug them into these team pages. You're going to get them on that 3-way chat if they won't get on a 3-way call. You're going to be checking in on them, but you're not just going to sign them up and then think about signing up the next person, which, yes, you want to be thinking about signing up other people, but you can't forget about the people that you sign up. If all you ever do is sign up people and then never follow up with them or never help them kind of spread their wings and fly, or at least give them the information to spread their wings and fly, then you're just going to be like a hamster in a hamster wheel and you're just going to be doing the same thing over and over and not getting anywhere. Okay. So plug people in, don't sign people up and make them feel like they were just a number. Okay. Number 8 kind of goes along with that. It is being active on your team pages and on your team calls. So being an active member of your team. Debbie posts something, Candace posts something, if Tamara posts something, a video, a written post, whatever it is, you guys, they're posting it because they watched it or they read it and they thought, "My team needs to see this. My team needs to watch this. This is going to speak to somebody." Okay. They don't put it up there for themselves. They've already watched it. They've already read it. These calls that they have for you guys, all the opportunities that they offer y'all, whether it's an opportunity deal, whether it's a training, they don't do it for themselves. That's what I tell my team all the time. I'm not doing this for myself. I'm doing this for you guys. And so be an active team member. I love when my team comments on the post that I put up, and gives me their favorite takeaways, even if I don't ask for it. Because guess what else that does? The people that they've signed up that are on the team page, say Debbie signs up a girl named Kelly, and Kelly, she's commenting on the post Debbie's putting up. Oh my gosh, that video was so great. I just learned XYZ. Oh, this post really spoke to me. Then if Kelly signs somebody up, then Kelly's person is going to say, well, Kelly's posted, comment on all these posts and watching this stuff. That must be what I do. Okay. So your people are going to follow what you do. And as silly as you may think that sounds, posting and liking and making those posts pop up in people's news feeds and people see them and see that people are actually commenting and watching this stuff, it's a big, big deal. Besides it just letting them see that information and for them to know that they need to watch it and read it, it lets them know, okay, there's more than just a couple people that are doing this business. Like there's a lot of people that really want to do this, or a lot of people that believe in it. So be an active team member. I promise your leaders, it will just make their hearts so, so happy. Number 9 is you have to have unshakable belief. Okay. You have to have a belief in this business and in these products that is so strong that nothing is going to shake you. Okay. And if you're just starting and you're like, well, I'm just starting, how do I have that belief? Get on some testimony pages. Look up, on your team page, there's a search function. Write down any type of autoimmune disease you could think of. Diabetes, lupus, fibromyalgia, arthritis, like anything, weight loss, kidney stones, gallbladder. And I want you to look and read these testimonies that are probably posted on your team page. Okay. These are not compliant to post on your personal pages, but these are a good way for you to build belief if you're a brand new person. I love testimonies. It's my favorite part of any event we do, whether it's an online event or an in-person event. I literally leave there with chill bumps and just like a renewed energy every time. I get my belief built all the time. And so that's another way, is getting on these calls, going to events. That's going to be a way to build your belief. And if nothing else, borrow some of your leaders' belief. Okay. So there's enough belief in this company, but you have to have unshakable belief. And that's another thing. It's just like being a product of the product. The people that have belief, they present different. They talk about the products different. They've got joy in their voice. They've got a smile that when they're talking, it just naturally shows. Okay. So it's a huge thing for your audience. And whether you know it or not, your audience is looking to see, does she really have belief in this? Because they don't want to sign up with somebody that's kind of in or out, All right. Number 10, and this is just kind of my word. My team used to make fun of it for me, but I'm known as the consistency queen. And so number 10 is, if you want to be successful with Plexus or anything else in your life, you have to be consistent. Consistency is key to anything and everything. And so I can say consistency on all of the 9 things above that I talked about. You have to be consistent. Very early on, actually it was January, so it's probably right before I was silver, January 2014. Way back when, the DDD team used to have a call, and it was on Monday nights. It was like 7:00, and it wasn't recorded. So if you did not get on this call, you missed the information. So by golly, you were going to get on that call. And I remember getting on that call. I was making dinner or something, had just gotten home from work, and Jen Hawkins was on there, and she was talking about, I don't know at the point how long she'd been with the company, but it was over a year. And she said a guy that she went to college with had been on her Facebook page the entire time that she'd been doing Plexus, messaged her that week and said he was going to be coming through Denver. He had been watching her page for an entire year plus to see if this was something that she was going to be consistent with, keyword, and stick with, or if this was kind of something that she was just kind of dabbling in and was going to do for a little bit and then be on to something else. So he was looking for her consistency to build his belief. Okay. So that stuck out to me early on in my business. And I was already a consistent person before that, but that just kind of even more validated like that I had to be consistent in this. And so for you to be successful, you have to be consistent with your IPAs, with your reaching out, with your taking your products, with anything and everything that applies to the business. So that's going to be how you're going to be successful. But the consistency is also important because it's going to be how your audience perceives you and how your audience like believes in you and believes in this business and believes in the opportunity. Whether they even know that's what they're looking for or not, that's what they're looking for is your consistent effort. I see so many people and they jump out of the gate and they're consistent with it and they do it for about 2 weeks and then maybe nothing really happens. And then they kind of stop posting for a little bit. And then they pick it back up for a day or two and then they're off the wagon again. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like your audience is probably thinking you don't even do it anymore. I mean, I'll give you an example. There was a girl on my team. She signed up about a month and a half before Timmy Yancey did with me. They cheered together at UCA. She came out. She almost fast started gold, was pouring into it. And then it got to be summer break. She was a teacher. She just kind of thought, well, I don't really have to do that much. Kind of took a seat back, wasn't posting all the time. And then Timmy signed up. Well, Timmy's posting about it every day. So who do you think their huge network of all these people that they both knew went to? Timmy, because she's posting about it all the time. And that girl was so upset for months and months and months and months and months and was almost going to quit at one point because she said, like, I'm just so mad. And I said, it's like, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's your own fault. Like, if you had just stayed with it, you would have had like all those people signed up like a month before Timmy ever even started. And so your audience is looking for consistency. So you have to be consistent in your posts, in your taking of the products, in any and everything that you do with this business. So one last thing I want to leave y'all with is kind of a challenge. I've challenged my leaders and my whole team to do this for the month of December, but I really want you guys for the whole month of December to focus on pouring into people, pouring into these new relationships, maybe pouring into some rekindling of some relationships that you have. But December is the perfect month to do that. You might not have a lot of people that are jumping on board with you right now or buying $100 worth of products for the first time, but you've got people that you can love on, okay? And December is the perfect time to do that. Why? For one, people just like to be loved on, and they are never, ever, ever going to forget how you made them feel. But number two, it's a perfect time to be planting those seeds so that when Christmas is over and people are thinking about, okay, New Year's Eve's almost here. I've got some New Year's resolutions I want to do. You know, they're probably going to include weight loss or getting healthy or something. You are on their mind because you've been loving on them and you've been pouring into a relationship. You've been paying attention to them. If you're not going to be doing that, I promise you, they are going to go to somebody else, whether it's with Plexus or another company, for help. So be loving on people this month. And if that means you literally have to get out a sheet of paper and write down their names, maybe you're like, well, Kristy, I can only do that with 10 people. Like, that's all I can commit to. Well, then commit to doing it with 10 people. If you're somebody, you're like, I want to do 50, then do 50. And I told my people, if you can go to their page 3 times a week minimum, up to 5 times, and be making sure that you're commenting on their pictures, liking their stuff, maybe even send them a message like closer to Christmas and just say, I'm just wishing your family a Merry Christmas. You know, I've loved watching, seeing your post or seeing them with Santa or whatever it is that's relatable to what they're doing. And how well you know them. Like, do that. People, they're gonna eat it up, and it's not you being ingenuine. It's just you actually being intentional with it. Okay, so that's kind of my final challenge to you guys.
Okay, can you hear me now? Okay, all right, Kristy. This might be my favorite one we've done.
Lord,
like. Yay, girl! I had this perma grin on my face listening to you. That was, it was basic, but it was so powerful and so much truth to it. And I just can't thank you enough. It was so good. I am so pumped. So I'm like, okay, I got to get off. I've got too much to do. I just want to get back to work. But thank you.
You're so welcome.
I mean, it's funny that you say you're an introvert. You are so contagious. I mean, your energy and just what you're given off to us is so contagious, and it really does. I mean, I'm pumped, and I know everybody who's watching this is pumped. But I also want to go back to what you said at the beginning with Kyle. And if y'all don't know Kyle, I mean, I've got like this little crush on him. He is so adorable. He's the sweetest guy. And what to think that, first of all, that Rebecca was after you for 4 months before you ever gave in and said, okay, you'd give it a try. And then what God did for you, went ahead of you, had this all planned out for you. And because of Plexus, you got to be with Kyle. I mean, we just don't know what's in store for us. And that $34.95, it's so worth it. What if? What if? Well, Kristy, thank you so much. I just love you, and I just appreciate it so much.
Well, y'all are so welcome, and I'm glad that you got something out of it. So hopefully everybody else that's on the call did as well.
They will. I'm going to go back, and I've got some challenges for my team with this. So we want to thank everybody for hopping on tonight, and we'll be back in January. I'm not sure who we've got yet for January, but hey, Kristy set the bar high. So y'all have a Merry Christmas and a great rest of the year. Thank you guys so much. Good night.
Bye, y'all.